Well. Now we arrive in Kentucky. As you can see, it's pretty huge state comparing with the rest of the states and on the United States map. Um, it's very interesting. Look at this, how wide it is, how long it is, but not hugely, let's say, it's a bit narrow for a state like this. But we're gonna look at exactly how those people live. But first of all, we're gonna look some data to have some idea. Capital, it's Frankfurt, I think, pretty good. But our largest city, it's Louisville, and Jefferson is the largest county, they say. What I'm interested in here more is like population. So population is 4.6 million people and rising, as you can see. But 4.6 in a state like that shouldn't be that crowded, but we're gonna see that. Median household income, again with this nonsense for 2023 data, it's $61,000 per household. Keep in mind, so at least you divide that by 2, so you have like 30,000 per each, and it's like 44th place from the all 50 states. So again, one of those poorest states, I would say, but we will see in a moment how those people live, because we've seen some other poor state that they're living absolutely great. So it's not exactly an realistic number to count on that, I would say. Elevation, again, it's a landlocked state. Then you're gonna have like higher than the sea level, which is highest elevation it's 1,265 meters, and lowest elevation 78 meters. So pretty good, I would say. And the average is around 230 meters. They have a nice seal, I would say, pretty convincing. And the flag also, it's pretty much the seal on the blue background. So one of those blue states by flag, let's call it like that. Nice Lincoln birthplace near. Okay, so it was born here in Kentucky. We have the road map, which is pretty good. Lexington, Louisville, you can see here, pretty huge cities. We have some sort of a dam here. We have a nice park with the skyline behind it. We have some mountains that people they can go there and climb. Racial facts, okay, I like those. Historical, racial, demographics. They don't have the data. I mean, I think they have it. This is like 2010. I'm not sure, but I don't know exactly what they are so behind. So we're gonna go with this one: Kentucky racial, ethnicity, and composition, whatever that fuck that means. Whites. Look at the whites here. Whites in percentage back in 2000 was around 90%, and now it's around 81%. So they go down. Blacks 7.3% in 2000, and now they are 7.98%. So not that much of the increase. Native Americans, look at this, from 0.2% to 0.18%. So even they go down a bit. Asians from 0.73 to 1.64%, which is pretty much the biggest increase we see so far. Pacific Islanders, again, this nonsense, but they grow almost 3 times. 0.03% to 0.08%. Other race, I guess like mixed race or something like that, 0.10%. Now it's 0.33%. Now a huge increase. Mixed race or multiracial, more than one race, from 0.3% to 3.9%, which is a huge leap. And Hispanic and Latino from 1.5% to 4.6%. It's again a huge jump. So the only huge jumps that we have is Hispanic and mixed race, the huge ones that actually might count. And the only decrease that we see, it's in white population mostly, and native, but again, native like very small decrease. But the whites, they're doing pretty poorly there, I would say, by this data at least. And keep in mind, they have increase in population, and the whites keep getting left behind. Religion, Protestants 65%. No religion, again, kind of worries me this. They're going pretty fast in any state. 22%, Catholics 10%, and other faith like 2%. So not that much. I'm gonna be curious how it's gonna be in California. Economically, probably they have some sort of a Toyota and Ford factory there in Kentucky. A lot of nice buildings. Overall, seems to be pretty quiet there, which I like it. But we're gonna see that in a moment, how nice and quiet it is, and how those folks actually live there. Because that's, again, that is genuinely the most important. Here is kind of the 47% Republicans and Democrats 41%, Independents 5%, and the rest of them doesn't even matter. So this is by votes. Hmm. More Republican, but not that much. And especially we can see the dropping in a white population and going up in a Hispanic population. But I have a feeling that pretty soon in the next 3 or 4 election, it's gonna become a democratic state, or at least swing to that party. But we're gonna see that have some sort of a music here, food here, always welcome. Sports. I mean, they like basket. I don't know exactly why they like basketball so much in US, in Europe. It's not even a big deal, but I don't know. Maybe they have some sort of incentives for that. So let's go with the population. Let's see how those folks actually live. I want to start in a small town. We're gonna go for the hardest one, let's say. Small towns get hit harder in economic, but the road looks pretty nice. Those cables, again, we talk about them. Not a big fan, but it is what it is. That's, in my opinion, it's an easy fix. I don't think the Americans, they stay, at least here in the center, or even in the East Coast. And the West Coast, yeah, is more predictable to the earthquakes. But here on the East Coast and Central America, I don't think they have a problem with earthquakes. So those cables can go very well inside the ground. So you're not gonna see them that much. Like look, I have like 3 trash cans here. They have like 1, 2, 3, 4 cars. Man, 4 cars for not such a huge house. That's pretty interesting, but that's a real car right there. And maybe this one, this Kia. That's it. Not exactly high income area, let's call it like that, but still looking pretty good. I don't understand this fence here. Looks absolutely horrible. I don't know that they keep it. Maybe they have some sort of a dog. This is 2014 and this is 2023. Not exactly a huge differences, I would say. I mean, we have that lake pound there, and I don't know, maybe it's still there, but it's interesting. What else can we see here? Well, they're looking pretty nice, I have to say. I mean, for a place like that, yeah, this mess in the yards can be fixed pretty easily. The road looks pretty good. The land on every single one of those people, they have a pool above the ground. The poor kind of a pool. The land is pretty nice. The distance between the neighbors is pretty decent too. So they have, like, again, good bones to actually build something nice here. 35 miles per hour speed limit. It's a bit low for this region. I would say 50. It's more than welcome, but we will see. Let's go in a more populated area. Let's see. Let's see this one. Straight streets, houses much more close to each other. And I am interested in this one. And this is October 2022. So again, in almost Halloween here. That's a really nice small house, I have to say. I checked those and I think they are HVAC systems, so not exactly heat pumps, but also not far away, because an HVAC system, it's kind of a heat pumps. The only difference between, I think, from my knowledge, between an AC HVAC system and an actually heat pumps, it's the heat pump is more efficient in warming up the house, which I never understand why, because they have some similar parts in them, why they're so more expensive than the ACs. Because if you manage somehow to make a really cheap and very efficient heat pump, you kind of solve, let's say, half of the crisis, half the energy crisis in a way, because they consume much less, and it's, let's say, cut a lot of cost for the local governments, usually, especially in my country. And even more important than that, you have fucking control of your goddamn heat. And from that point, the only thing that they have to do is just make the electricity cheaper, and we are good to go. And fixing the energy is the first stage that we have to do. That's a pretty nice house. I have a feeling that we see that house before, at least that architecture, but they could be all very similar. This map here in Kentucky kind of remembers me about Western Europe in a way, because look at this. They have a lot of land between, and that's good, but look how many towns they have close to each other, when they can travel pretty easy by road. It's the same thing in Western Europe, although they don't have that much empty land between them. So I guess here it's a bit more spacious, let's call it like that. but it's a bit similar, just on the bigger scale. That's the only difference that I can say. But it's interesting because even those small towns that they have here, small towns by the American for the Europeans are like borderline cities. You can have a similar amount of quality life, let's call it like that, than the really big cities in the country. So that's something that I don't think you have only in the Western Europe and US. In the Central Europe, it starts to came like that, but in the Eastern Europe, they still have to work a bit more for that. So yeah. Oh, look at this, from 2008 to 2023, not that much change, which is nice. At least they have a really good road. I mean, look at this. This guy mounts his lawn manually. I guess that's exactly what you're talking about. Even you do it like that with a petrol one, or you do it like European does with the electric ones, or you do it one of those petrol one machine that you can actually have a seat in that. And now with the Europeans, what we have, it's one of those electric, drive it, let's say, by AI, pretty much. And you're just looking on the phone. You can guide it with your phone if you don't want to stay that close to it, or you just want to keep your hands on that. You can guide it to with your phone, or you can mark the area that you want to get a cut, and the lawn trimmer, whatever they call it, start to cut the grass, which is actually a really good way to save time and money in the same time, and it doesn't even make that much noise. So that's another huge advantages. This one, we used to have those two, not anymore. It's just, yeah, on the sides pretty good, but doesn't bother me have this grass here. I mean, like, look at this. This looks much horrible than this one. Have like small grass there, it looks actually even better. So I'm not sure exactly what the people going beyond, above and beyond to cut every single grass that they can find. They can understand, and that some of them in some area they actually make it look even better. But here, let's concentrate on what we see. Houses, yeah, on the small side, and not exactly that high income, let's say, area. They cut this tree. Unfortunately, they didn't plant another one. They keep their car on the grass. That's not exactly good, but at least it's not on the road. That's also pretty good. But they have the space here to put a car, and they keep them there. It's kind of a shame. Oh, Kentucky here in the West Kentucky, it's not exactly look at this. Not exactly a high income area. But here, let's check this one on the lake. Actually not so bad. Not so bad at all. Although the properties are a bit closer to each other, I would say. That's kind of worries me a bit, but the road is good. House is very nice indeed. Oh, look at this. How nice have the park there. If they have it covered, that's even better. What else can we find here? Yeah, some nice dock there. They can actually take their boat. Have a tennis court. That's nice, but unfortunately, you need to have like here. You need like a fence for the balls. Otherwise, you're gonna lose a lot of them. But very European, I would say. Very European with the tennis court. Again, the HVAC system here, and one of those electric golf carts. That's actually amazing. I think we should have more of those. Especially if you have a distance between you and your grocery less than, let's say, 3 miles or something like that. You should be able to use that on the road legally. No permit requirement, no insurance, no nothing like that. So actually can drive the cost down, and people actually use them for those small chores that they have to do pretty much around the house, which is way better. And again, save you money and fuel. And also using the car less is gonna break down less in the same time, especially for small trips. If you manage somehow to cut short driving and your replacement with short driving with electric golf carts, you're gonna see even an improvement in your reliability of your car. So it's gonna save you even more money. Wow, that's a really nice house, and they have like a hot tub here. Pretty good. The thing about the Americans, I think they kind of have the better architecture of the housing, the regular ones, than the Europeans. Western Europe, yeah, looks nice. Central European and Eastern European, no, doesn't look that nice, and it's kind of a shame. But we will see how that they can improve in the future. But with the next generation, like I always say, they want to see the difference. They want to change. You have to wait for generation to change. Everybody knows that by now. I think just trying to talk with the old guy. You should be like this. You should do this now. He's not gonna do it. Just keep in his own way things. So yeah, you can have high hopes for change there. They have a lot of wood here for no trespassing. Yeah. um, not sure exactly what's happening. Probably they hid their home with the wood. I can see here the chimney and another one here, which is kind of a sad in a way. I'm not sure. Maybe it's cheap here in Europe. It's not that cheap so far, at least. To have this timber, it's wood. But in the future there, maybe it's gonna be some changes. But again, a heat pump, just you don't have to wake up in the middle of the night, put another log in a fireplace. You don't have to clean the fireplace. You don't have to worry about the house getting on fire and stuff like that. So yeah, again, make those heat pumps cheaper and you fix half the economy already. What else can we find? And also slide the bureaucracy. That's a nice court here that you can play basketball. Again, they have some sort of a love affair, I would say, for this sport in Europe. Again, not exactly that much. I mean, I can okay, it's 25 miles an hour speed limit, not even close. Should be like at least 40 here. In Europe, we have those basketball courts too, but not that many people actually use it, so they kind of sits there. I don't know, like I say, maybe it's the American thing. Let's go on the other side. Let's go on the east. Maybe it's better here, maybe it's worse. I don't know. I mean, judging by the way they it's a border town. They spread around, I would say that it could be even worse here, but even worse. It's not that worse so far, it's pretty good. This one actually pretty nice. Keep in mind, almost 5 million people and increasing in population, and the white population is going down because the numbers are going up and the population kind of stayed the same in the white. You know, we have the numbers here. They kind of stay the same, but because the population is going up, they lose the percentage. So look at this, 3.6, 3.7, 3.6, so not huge changes in the last 20 years. But the population is going up, so you lose that percentage. You know, it's like having stock on the company and you are on the board, and then you have the stock diluted and you lose your seat on the board. Something like that happened here too. We will see how that is gonna end. But for now, we have a kind of a clear picture how things are going for the whites here. Although those houses, I mean, look at this. I never understand that. It's a small house. Clearly, it's a small house by any standards, especially for the American ones. I'm not sure exactly how wide it is, but how deep it is. But you can see it. It's not a huge one. But look at the cars here. You have like a Mercedes. It's an E-Class. You have a GMC. 2 of them actually. So those are people that I'm not sure exactly if they finance those cars, but they clearly have pretty decent money. And okay, the house is not exactly that small, but those cars probably surpass the value of the house. And I always find that kind of upsetting, I would say, because first of all, the house, oh, look at it, have a nice pool, these guys. No privacy, but they have a nice pool. You should never buy a car or cars that surpass the value of the house. And the value of the house should not be more than, ideally, 1 year wage. But we are long past that. Everybody knows that. Or at least you should not buy it. But sometimes you just have no choice. And the value of the car should never, and I mean never, be more than 25% of the value of the house. Ideally, you're not gonna spend more than $10,000 to $15,000 on the car, brand new cars, by the way. But again, in this market, good luck finding one. So that's how supposed to be, at least. And you have the power to kind of change that if you start buying less expensive cars. Yeah, they're not gonna have all the features that you want. Definitely, you not need them. That's another thing, but it's a good way to start, in my opinion. Just buy the cheapest car you can find that have the basic equipment that you're actually gonna use, because you can have like insane suspension, insane engines, gearboxes, massage seats, leather seats, and all that bullshit, but that's gonna add up to cost of the car. In the end, you're gonna have the same story with what's happened with the truck car industry, which is now luxury vehicle, not working horses. So yeah, I thought for a second that's a train here, but it's not. Some areas here, yeah, they are clearly very poor. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what they live on the social credit or whatever they call it here, social checks. But yeah, not exactly that great looking, that's for sure. They have a real messy car here. It's a truck. Okay, it's a real truck pretty much. They have like a one cabin, but it's like extended, so half decent, let's call it like that. They have a fort here too, but they're living in this not so livable house, let's call it like that. And they have chickens. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like those chickens. And we see a four-wheelers ATV here. Where that was? I mean, look at this one. It's a Honda. What is that? They have an RV here that probably somebody is living there and using this home. But look at the garbage that they have around here. And this gas. I'm looking that safe. Private property. They have a mailbox, so I guess it is private property. But living like that here, it's pretty bad. I mean, I get experience of the life with good and bad, but that's kind of too much. I would say that too much. Let's go in a big city. I think that's Lexington. I'm not sure, but I'm not interested in names. Again, that's even better when you don't use names or anything like that. You just want to see how those people actually live. I'm not sure exactly what's happening here, but it's pretty decent house. Look at those cables here. Not so great at all. But here, wow, that's a really nice house. Yeah, I like that one. Close to each other, not exactly a big fan of that, but it's kind of in a city area here, so it's understandable. That's also a nice house. That's also a nice house. And didn't change that much over the time, so they're looking pretty good. Have a Mustang here. Also very nice housing here. I mean, like I said, Americans, they have better houses overall than Europeans for sure. Even than the Western Europeans, the Central Europeans and the Eastern European by a mile long. It's way, way better. The aesthetic of the towns and cities are better than European overall, because yeah, European are gonna say, oh, they have a nice architecture, yeah, but that's just pretty much in one place when you have it, and the locals, they barely even go there. It's just more like for a tourist, and where they actually live, the locals, is never, not even close looking at something like this. So again, Americans win in that category too. Wow, that's a really rich area. I mean, look at the pools from above. And yeah, I mean, look at this. Even if you're in a rich or poor area, the roads are pretty much the same. So that's really good. The land are not the same. The neighbors here, it's a bit too close to each other, I would say. But usually in the rich area, they're living pretty nice. They have pretty nice land. They don't have that much worry about privacy here, which is nice. And the houses, yeah, actually pretty good. I'm not a big fan of those huge houses. I'm saying it again. Look at this guy has a bus here. Yeah, it's an RV, but looks like a bus to me. That's a really nice fort here. It's Taurus, I think they call it. Privacy in a decent size house, it's so much better than a mansion, McMansion or whatever they have it here in Europe. I think even that kind of start disappearing because it's kind of a pointless living in those big houses. Just you have to walk all that long, that distance. Look at it, have even a nice lake behind the house here, looking pretty good. You have to maintain it, clean it, heat it, cool it. Yeah. Even if you don't pay taxes for God hope in the future, it's still not worth it. This is October and it's Halloween, by the way. And those people likes a lot Halloween. They have pretty expensive cars here too. And this is what, October 20, see more dates? Yeah, that's the last one, October 2022. Very recently, in the end of pandemic, I think it was, because in the 2022, what is it, October? Oh yeah, the pandemic October. When, I don't know exactly for the United States, but for Europeans, when Russia invaded Ukraine, that's it. Then in the same day, for God's sake, in the same day, that I never see that before. In the same day, the pandemic got over. And I genuinely say that it was over. It was like day and night. You don't even, the next day was like, we never have pandemic. We have no idea what that was. No restriction, no signs, no nothing. The next day, I never see that in my life. From 2 years, you pretty much destroy your own population with rules and fines and all the, I would say, the Lexington or the Nazi stuff that you can actually do to a population. And the next day, when Russia invades Ukraine, all that is gone like that. It never happened. Absolutely crazy. Wow, that's look more like European housing style. I like those. I think they call it blinds. I'm not sure exactly, but looking really nice. They have a Mercedes, so I guess more Europeans in that way, but the house looking pretty nice, and the lake behind it's even better. They have a bar here, so I don't know, maybe it's like some sort of a clubhouse or something like that. I don't know, but look at this. They have a nice lake, and clearly when you have a lake and water around it, rich people kind of find each other here. Let's call it like that. And yeah, it looks very nice. Oh, I like those plants here. That's what I'm saying. You need more trees here, but also those plants looks absolutely amazing. And a three-door garage. And it's kind of in the house, but it's in front of that, so it looks worse. It's just, look at this. This is much better. A classic one. You have the driveway here. The cars has to stay behind the house, not to be seen. Not the first thing, you know, look at the house, you see the garage or the car. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. But again, we need to work on that. We have again this flag. I'm not sure exactly what symbolizes it, but we've seen that probably in other states for sure. And I don't think it's a local sports team anymore because you cannot have usually that much across the states, but it could be, I don't know. What else can we see here? Again, the house is very nice. Though looks a bit like apartments for Europeans, but here looks absolutely amazing. A nice Lexus here, again, expensive as fuck, and a Toyota here. I like this guy better. You don't need a car like that. You want it, fine, but you don't need it. And again, we go down on the prices of those. The only reason why cars cost so much, and I don't care what you're saying, is because people buying it. That's the only reason. And that's it. We achieved such a level of technology that most of the things in our cars, we don't use it. That's it. We don't use it. And that's a shame. What else can we find here? Well, they're looking pretty nice. It's clearly a more medium income neighborhood than the last one that we see, which was a high income, obviously. Ooh, that's a nice Corvette. I think it's a Corvette, right? It's a nice car. Yeah, houses much closer to each other. It's again Halloween, I believe. I don't think somebody died there. Looks nice. It looks nice, but again, a bit jamming everyone together. But look at this, not that many cables. Actually, no cable whatsoever. So they go with the cables. Oh, that's a nice shed there. And a very nice car. Wow. That's a Ford Focus. It's exactly what you need in America. So you can see they have those light poles, but again, it's not exactly in European style. It's one of those soulless one. But at least in this neighborhood, you don't see cables. Look how nice and clean it is. Okay, we have some cables here. Well, along this one, you don't have cables. And look how nice that is. Probably the cables are here and here. Look how nice it is. What I tell you. No cables, always gonna look much better. And here when you have cables, yeah, it kind of ruins it. Just, looks horrible. Absolutely horrible. What else can we check here? Okay, we check the lakes. Like I said, usually when you have green and water, that's a place for rich people. Again, with the decreasing in population and absolutely stopping in migration outside the Western world, you're gonna see huge drop in, and also legislation, bureaucracy, and all of that. We're gonna see huge dropping in prices in the housing, and then probably, like I say, in the next, I want to say 10-15 years, but I'm not sure if that's even possible. But I would like to see that. Probably after 2050, to be more sure, a house would be something like the cheapest car you can buy now. So it'd be like, obviously, everyone can have one pretty easy. So we can put behind this nonsense that we build for ourselves with housing seems like investment and not actually like pretty much a right that everyone should own and not pay taxes on their own freaking house. But again, we will see. It's another 25 years that we have to wait pretty much, and you pretty much have to wait for the old generation to die, because those people, they absolutely see them as an investment. And they don't care if they have like 3 houses and someone else has 0 houses. They still want like 5 million on this garbage house that they own just because it's in the right area and bullshit like that. we will see. We will see. Usually, like I say, those changes appears when you have a change in generation of population, because you cannot teach the old generation this is wrong, this is not how it's supposed to be, and they will never understand that. So you have to wait for them to die, leave their fortune to their kids or whatever, and hopefully the next generation, at least they're gonna realize that that's really bad and we should stop it immediately. Yeah, you might lose them a lot of money in the process, but in the same time you're gonna gain a lot of security, and with that, by everyone owning their own house and stopping the migration in the same time, overall you're gonna see it's a much better bet, not even a bet, it's a much better life than just having an insane amount of money that you don't even use. That's another problem. Like it's the same thing like cars. You bought them a full spec car that you don't even use that often, the car itself, and also the feature that you buy, you don't even use it, or even you don't even notice the difference between like a more expensive suspension package or more expensive engine package and all that bullshit. Just you don't even notice the difference. That's another thing that kind of we should stop thinking of that. Start thinking of that, because yeah, it's a waste of money and does nothing else than just drive those car markets prices absolutely insane. And I think in Europe, somebody from Stellantis group, if I remember correctly, or not exactly, or Volkswagen, but I don't trust Volkswagen, so I don't trust Stellantis either. But they say for the next generation of the car, they're gonna concentrate on those cheaper ones, because they have pretty much huge losses in revenue. People don't buy those expensive ones. Yeah, it was a bet that worked for a while, that we're gonna produce less cars, have less headaches, and are gonna charge more, and we're gonna have pretty much the same profit for less work, or even more profit for less or even smaller work. But that cannot last forever. So again, and okay, like I say, the basic car, they got so well equipped right now, and so much technology in them. It's just you don't need even to look to the options anymore. So I don't really understand why they make options on the car. They should have like a basic trim for every single one of them, and that's it. You have one assembly line, you sell one price, and good to go. Don't put like rear wheel steering. Who the fuck needs that? I don't give a fuck how long your car it is. If it's that long, you shouldn't buy it, or it shouldn't exist in the first place. But again, that's another discussion. Here they have some cables that they don't look that well. I mean, it looks like we have a cable car going here. It does not look that well, and we have a garage sale here, which is pretty nice. Those houses looks very nice and very appealing. Like I said, you're never gonna see that much in Western Europe. You're gonna see those type of construction, but the land is much smaller. In a Central and Eastern Europe, not even close. So again, waiting for generation to die, to have a new one, move there, improve the land, improve the aesthetics, and God hope it's gonna look something close to this. But we're gonna see that. Here in those connection roads, we have some people that live here too, as you can see. Probably some of them, they are farmers. But you can see it's nice, it's quiet, not that many people around you, have a lot of privacy. Again, the problem with the economic, with money, we don't talk about that anymore. Like, just I'm talking probably not the same every single video. I'm not a big fan of those keeping your car. It's again probably the same car that the other one that we see at park on the grass, or similar to that. Just no. You have the alley. You drive behind. I don't want to see a car in front of the house. I want to see the house. And it's a pretty nice house too. So yeah. The roads here also very nice. Again, we're going back to the discussion. The American infrastructure, it's crumbling. No, I don't think so. I just don't see it that way. Just we see a lot of them, and they're looking pretty good. So I'm not sure exactly why someone's gonna say that, but it's not falling apart. That's for sure. Yeah, they have some, like I said, 10%. Maybe they need to be improved, but that's it. Oh, that's a really nice Toyota right there. That's a really nice house too. I mean, overall, they're doing pretty well even here. Just, again, America, maybe it's good that they ask more. That's always good, because you have to keep the pressure on the government, that's for sure. Oh, look, it's a Jewish house here with the BMW on the driveway. Okay, and they have an American flag right there. It's good to keep pressure on the government, and another BMW here, probably another Jewish house. Um, but when you take a step back and you compare with the rest of the Western world in the first place, and then with the rest of the world, you coming out very good from both categories, to be honest. Yeah, but the Western world, it is kind of a leader, I would say. It's just that most of the Americans are living in a much better houses than Europeans live, and yeah, the rest of the world is not even close. So in a way, it is good that they keep the pressure, but in the same time, you kind of also have to stop a bit and appreciate it because you already live way better than the other guys, and in such short time. Oh, that could be a heat pump here. And in such a short time, like in the last 100 years, they improved tremendously. I mean, I can imagine this neighborhood, this land here in the 1926, way different. I don't even know if they existed back then, but way different for sure, the land. But overall, here, look at this. Even in this area, it's clearly a high income area. That looks nice. High income areas, like I say, you recognize them very easily by two things. Mainly two things. It's like how green it is, and if they have water around it, water. And the third one, it's not mandatory, but it is a way of find them. It's a golf course, as you can see here. They have a golf course. Means it's a really high income area, which is pretty nice. I mean, look at this, and they're looking pretty good too. So nice green. Look at this house is also pretty good. Nice green loans. Wow, it's 2007. Look how look in 2007 and compare with 2022. This, look at this. This tree just probably was just planted in 2007, and in 2022, look how much it grows. Look, see, huge improvement. Huge. They need to plant more, but it is pretty good. That too, pretty nice. They're doing pretty well. I mean, again, we go in those rich. I mean, like I say, you can find those rich areas by how nice the grass it is there, how green it is, and if they have water around it. But even those more poor ones, that for some reason, and we're gonna see that even more in the future, the poor people living now in the more I want to say better real estate, but closer to public transportation, closer to workplaces, buildings, office buildings, closer to parks, closer to, which back in the day, those supposed to be like um, the rich neighborhoods. But now the rich one, they're moving to the countryside. This is a cemetery, by the way. Also, much better than the European looking one, but Europeans have a different appealing. Um, And now the rich people moving in the countryside, which they have much more land, much more quiet, much more privacy, which is pretty interesting, I would say. So the poor ones, they lost the privacy that they used to have in the countryside, and the rich one goes for the privacy that they don't have in the central towns, central cities. But some of them, they are so sneaky, then they keep the properties that they have in the towns and they just rent it, which is not exactly a fair, I would say. I don't like renting anything in a way because it feels like you're living in one place, you should be owning, should be yours. But again, that's a different discussion. But you can see the lines here. That's why I'm gonna say probably in the near future you're gonna see more and more people moving out to the countryside, out in the countryside, and moving out of the main cities, the main even towns at some extent. Anything that it's cramped, like here, it's jamming everyone in a small place. They're not gonna be that appealing in the next 25 years. So yeah, if you have a nice property with a decent land in a town, keep it. If you don't, start, like I said, buying some land in the countryside. Yeah, in one day, pretty soon, probably gonna move there. At least not for you, for your kids. So, still pretty good. That's a really good investment, I would say. Investment, again, we should stop seeing as an investment. It's investment for you, not for selling to someone else or waiting for the price go up. The price will go down, and I hope they're gonna start valuing like nothing. But you should own your own piece of land. That's a must for everyone, I would say. You are born in this on this planet, you should have a piece of land for you and your family to live also on that piece of land for the next generations, not this transactional way that, oh, we see my investment, I'm buying now, I'm selling later for more. It's just nonsense. At some point, even the government, I would say, look, we're gonna give those people lands, but you cannot sell it for the next 100 years or something like that. That would be interesting to see. Um, yeah, you own it, it's yours, but you cannot sell it if you want it. You get it for free, you don't get taxed, you don't get nothing on that. But you cannot sell it, you have to keep it in your family. That's pretty nice. Have a look at this. Have a land, a piece like this, a huge amount. That would be great. And with like I said, dropping in housing materials and bureaucracy, you can actually afford the house for 1 year wage. We are gold, but I'm not sure exactly how that is gonna happen. But yeah, when is that gonna happen? But it's gonna happen for sure. Most of, like I say, most you have to wait for the old generation to die. They're not gonna. They don't see it like that. They're not gonna allow it for people having houses that easy, because they, hey, I have a house and a property in my house. The value has to stay the same and we're going up actually, which is again sad. Wow, this is looking way like Austria for a second, but not exactly. They're looking for a second like Austria. They have like a huge expensive Polaris here, I would assume. I'm not sure. And this Chevy truck here is again expensive, but the house, it's a trailer house pretty much. Again, see, prioritizing. That's really bad in my opinion. It's just going for cars and not for your house. It is what it is, but again, that's an old generation that they don't, most of them, not exactly. There are some youngsters that they do that. A house, it's always better than a car, like I say, and keep that rule 25%. If the house is not that expensive, it's a house, it's expensive, yeah. Probably by today market, you should not spend more than 30,000 in America, at least in US, more than 30,000 on the car, on brand new car. But even that, it's kind of expensive. For Europeans, I would say like 10, 15, but I don't know any car right now that they are that cheap. My parents bought their car for like 15, 16, I think, 5 years ago. So back then, the prices just starts going up. Before that, a few years was like 12, 14, something like that. So yeah. We will see again some changes, and we're gonna see some dropping in those prices. Car is gonna be affordable. You can drive longer, further, so you can move in a more remote, clear area, nice, clean, like this guy right here. Wow, this looks like Germany for a sec. I mean, that's a can you imagine having a land like this for free for you? The government say, hey, look, we're gonna give you this amount of land, probably even more than that, and it's yours to keep in your family and build a nice house on them, so you have for a generation to come and enjoy it. Probably it's all this land for this guy. I mean, look at this. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how everyone should have this land right here with the house, with everything, even behind some land. That's how it's supposed to be. And this is Kentucky, by the way. This is what? Prestonsburg, Kentucky. Looking pretty nice. Here in that land, yeah, looking pretty good. Then you have like a small river here. She looks pretty clean. They're doing very well in this part, like I said. See, it's not what is the biggest town, the nearest town, and something like that. So you can have some sort of like a grocery store here, and you can actually buy your stuff and go home. Or pretty soon, like I say, I can wait for those drone delivery, to be honest, even better. But I guess the supermarkets kind of don't like that, because yeah, when you go in the supermarket, you buy that, you go there to buy like 5 things and you get out with like 10 or 15. So they make a lot of money, just put you physically in the store, but we're gonna see how that is gonna go in the future. Hey, look at this, Kentucky Fried Chicken in Kentucky. How much is it? $2 a piece, $4.99. That's 2 pieces for $5. That's insane. $5. With $5, I can buy like at least a kilo, which is like 10 pieces, and make it home. Yeah, I get it. It's Kentucky Fried Chicken, but still, It got insanely expensive. Insanely expensive. No idea how they survive, but yeah, that has to change too. So yeah, I don't think we need to stay more in Kentucky. I think we see everything AutoZone. Wow, they have those. We don't have those big stores in Europe that you can actually go there and buy everything from your car. That would be nice. Um, it's pretty good. It's pretty good in Kentucky. I didn't see something like horrifying or something that say, yeah, I can see that low income. No, this guy loves Corvette. I think they are right. It's secondhand car sales. That's extremely expensive. This is what, June 2024. They're looking really nice, I have to say. I mean, I really like it. It just is nothing that I would say bad about them. It looks pretty good, especially like on the bottom, they say, on the income. Uh, yeah, I'm not sure exactly where they got those data. This apartment building, it's horrible. I should never recommend to anyone move there. Especially, yeah, again, it's the money problem, but you have like so much land right next on the door, next on the road, across the road, and you should live in a house like that, not in an apartment building like that. And those should never be allowed to be built in the first place, but that's a different discussion. Wow, look at this. Everybody has a pool here. This is a brand new neighborhood. And they're looking pretty good, pretty sharp. Again, you have to stop putting the garage. I mean, look at this. When you go to this house, the first thing you can see, and the closest to you from the sidewalk is the garage. Stop putting the cars in front of the house. Stop putting the garage in front. I mean, this looks way better, way better. Put the cars, yeah, behind the house. But the cars behind the house. I don't want to see them. I'm not interested. I like cars, but I want to keep them parked behind the house. And that's a monstrosity of the truck. I get it, it's a working truck, I assuming, judging by whatever they have here in the band, but woof, that's way too big than probably everyone needs. And this guy is super rich here. They have a Corvette, they have an Escalade, I think, the Polaris here, and two Mercedes, an S-Class and an SL, I think it is. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's an SL. And this guy is rich. That could be a Chevy, no, not an Escalade. This guy is super rich. Super uber rich. Good for him, I guess. But yeah, those cars, way too expensive. Not one of those cars actually worth the price. But it's a good neighborhood in a way. I mean, look at these BMWs here. It's a 2 Series, but still pretty good. A lot of trucks here that they never seen an off-road terrain. That guy, it's even better. I mean, that's like, what do they say, on the golf cart, they're looking even better. Another, I think it's a C-Class here, not an S-Class. No, it's an E-Class, I think. And Lincoln, again, garage in the front. Yeah, not. That's the only complaint that I have about the American designs in the housing department. It's just they put the garage right in front of the house even. Actually, look at this. It's the first thing you get, it's a garage, not your house. And the car, it's full display in front of the house, which I get it. You have a nice car, you want to brag about it, but I'm not interested in that. So I don't know, maybe it's just me. This guy is looking better. Look at this. Now, if you don't keep look at this. You keep the car, look at this, behind the house. That's how it's supposed. Look how nice and clean it looks, this house. It already looks better. And yeah, it's a shame for guys like that. It's even side of the house is not looking that great either. So you have to kind of cover that. So yeah, look at this. They have a Chevy here. And they have another one here. And another one here. So big Chevy fans, those guys. But again, they keep the cars in front of the house. Yeah, it's not looking good. Not looking good for sure. And you can know how much space you could have here for your own house, not for the car. Probably this is where the property stops and the property begins. That's probably, it's a heat pump there, I'm not sure, but judging by this neighborhood here, which some of them they're looking, I'm not sure exactly what those people do for a living. They can afford that in such a small town, because it's a small town, let's face it. But apparently they're doing something pretty good there, or maybe they have businesses outside the towns and they just stay here. I don't know. But somehow they make the money in small places like this, which kind of supposed to give you hope in a way, you know, like it's possible, you know. You can do it too. It's your chance. Wow, look at these guys. 3 cars jamming here together. I get it, you don't have that much land and a lot of garbage here doesn't look that great. Yeah, not exactly a great area. And this guy is sitting on the bite here in the middle of the day. Yeah, that's a really nice house. Oof, I like this one. Yeah, overall, I think it's pretty nice. It looks pretty good. The roads, yeah, no problems. Those cables, some problems, but we see it some others that they don't have it. So there is hope for better. Again, with the expensive cars in front, so full display for everyone to see them, how successful they are. And that's a real truck right there. Look at this, how big the bed used to be in the back. That's a real Ford truck right there. Not the one that they built those days. Not this one. That's not a real truck. Yeah, overall they're doing pretty well. Some working to do on what car they should buy and how much they're gonna spend on them and how they should keep them. I mean, look at this. You go into this neighborhood and already see cars, and some sort of an RV here and another cars and trucks. Just it's gonna look much better if they stay hidden and not on the street and smaller and not that many at the same time. But again, that's a different discussion. Yeah, overall, I think Kentucky looks absolutely nice, great. Like any other state, there are things to improve. Not everything is great, obviously, but overall, when you compare with other states, looking awesome. When you compare to the rest of the world, absolutely great. Huge state, as you can see, it's not small at all, and they're just pretty much home for the, can they say, this state, which they are bigger than some European countries. They have almost 5 million people, less than 5 million people to take care of them. So, it's interesting in a way, you know, having land, having a population that they say increase, but not for long, and they seems to do pretty well with when you go there. So probably again by after 2050 they're gonna have a different look even here, like everyone else in the world. So we're gonna hopefully live to see it. But yeah, I think in the economic part, good things are coming for sure. So yeah, if you live in Kentucky and see this video, check this one and leave a comment, say how things are there, or check the other videos that I make, and see you next time.